Hello, Bio 2910 Advanced Ecology students. This short video is going to walk you through the assessment expectations I have for our Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary visit. Thanks for joining me this Friday. It's going to be quite a spectacular and memorable evening, and it's really nice that Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary was so receptive to working with us in curating quite an exclusive experience for you. With this opportunity and privilege comes a certain expectation, of course, of your behavior on the day, which we will talk about when I actually see you. But this video is dedicated really to my expectations for the assessment. So I'll just quickly walk you through, and feel free to contact me at any time throughout the process of putting this assessment together. You'll know from the course profile that we are visiting Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary in an opportunity for you to develop some other skills beyond just the science training that you've had. I'm particularly passionate about the way in which we engage the broader community with science, and that, of course, requires effective science communication skills. So it's an opportunity for you to develop some of those skills in a slightly different way. Some of the learning objectives, you will see that they match the core course Bio 2010 quite well, but number 6 is an additional learning objectives for Bio 2910, and that is that you are developing an external stakeholder engagement strategy, which is a meaningful, there's that word in front of it, with the specific objective to improve knowledge base in the community, generally non-scientists, about something to do with ecology. You will present this plan as a 15% assessment, and there's a bit of flexibility in how you actually submit your ideas, and I'll talk you through that very, very shortly. But just some housekeeping that it is due the Friday of week 9, the 2nd of May. So make sure you meet that deadline, or if you require an extension, just make sure that you've applied for it in time. So I'm going to just go through where you'll find this information. If you go onto Blackboard and go under the assessment tab, which I will now unhide, you will be able to see this folder here, 2910 Project Plan. And clicking on it will give you all the information that you need, including 2 options for you to submit. I'll talk you through this very shortly, but there are 3 formats that you can choose. Of course, don't do all 3, choose one. You either submit it as a 2-page flyer, an infographic, which is usually 1 page, or a 3-minute video. If you are submitting it in written form, as an infographic or a flyer, then it needs to go into this Turnitin link. If you are submitting it as a video, then upload your video via this Google Drive folder that I have for you. But let's just quickly go through the actual project task sheet. So you click on that and all the information will be there. I'm going to let you read through this carefully on your own, but I just wanted to point out a few things. A reminder that's the due date, a reminder it's worth 15%, and a reminder that the objective here is an external stakeholder strategy, a plan, and I'm not expecting you to execute the plan, of course, but I am expecting you to have a little bit of thought and reasoning as to why you came to that plan. Oftentimes, that is best done based on a high quality source of evidence, whether you might be investigating research that's been done with particular audiences, social science, the way people perceive ecology, the way non-scientists interact with science, what are some successful engagement strategies with the public. These are reliable, credible sources of evidence. Of course, on the day, you're also going to meet a very influential person, which is the Education and Experiences Manager and Curator of Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary. They too are a credible source of evidence, so capturing some of their feedback and what they tell you is significant in shaping your ideas. You can, of course, choose to work alone, but you can also choose to work together. In fact, I have given you 2 YouTube videos here by the 2 best submissions from the 2024 cohort. So Samara did her project alone, and then the three boys over here did a project together. So whether you work alone or as a team, you can do just as well. But remember that if you choose to work as a team, that you're going to get the same mark regardless of who did what, right? So don't gripe about people not pulling their weight. If you choose to work as a team, you accept that you're all going to get the same score. I'll leave you to do the rest of it. I've gone through most of it here. I want to now go through the marking guide. So when you open the marking guide, we are going to mark this assessment out of 15 marks. And it's broken down as follows. I've given you some guiding questions to work through. So the objective here is after you finish your script, before you actually film the video, or as soon as you finish your infographic or flyer, go through these questions and ask yourselves whether what you've produced actually address the questions, right? So again, I'm not going to go through this in too much detail, but I'll give you a brief overview. The first is how you present it, right? Have you actually complied with the format, whether it's an infographic, which is 1 page, a flyer, which is 2 pages, or a 3-minute video? There's also something to be said about attractiveness and how professionally your submission. You should also know that orange is my least favorite color. Now, audience profiling. I'm expecting you to develop an engagement plan that serves a community audience. Now, you can be specific and choose a particular subset. Maybe you want to focus on young children. Maybe you want to focus on adolescents. Maybe you want to focus on people who are visiting from overseas and have a different life experience. I don't want you to be too broad brush and generic. So be specific with an audience type. Go do some research on what appeals to that audience type based on their demography. Then propose a really high quality strategy that serves that particular audience. Then it's the use of evidence. You're going to gain evidence from both the literature as well as your interaction on the day with staff at Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary. So capture some of that evidence and make sure it's integrated and show me that your strategy and that you come up with is based on that evidence, right? How did that evidence redirect or reshape, inspired your thinking? Then finally, it's the actual quality of your proposal, right? Remembering that I'm going to take the best proposals and share them with Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary. So this here, I'm looking for, is this a good strategy? Can it actually work? Why would it work? I'm not necessarily looking for cost analysis here. I don't, you should be practical, but don't feel like you need to justify how economically sustainable your idea is, right? It really is focused on what is the science, what is the ecology of what you're trying to achieve, who is your audience, and your proposal is the conduit between the science and the audience. Have you developed something that communicates the science with a desired outcome in your audience? What do you want your audience? Do you just want them to learn, or do you want them to actually take that knowledge and do something with it? Say recycle, or say plant native plants, so on and so forth, right? So there's some room for creativity there. So I will leave you with that, and I hope that you are looking forward to the trip and enjoy the assessment process. I want you to enjoy this process because there's a very good chance you'll never ever do an assignment similar to this ever again. But I think it is a skill set, right? Your ability to actually take science and repackage it in a meaningful way for others is an incredibly valuable skill set to develop. So I look forward to seeing all of you at Lone Pine, and get in touch if you have any further questions about your assessment.